It's episode 51. I'm so excited today. I'm launching a brand new mini-series within my pod. Pascal Finto from the Two Geeks and a Marketing podcast has agreed once a month to come and share a month's worth of research and share with you today this month's top tech and apps that your business and marketing department need. These are the top apps that have made the cut. We explore tech for marketeers. Today we cover 4 key areas: planning and researching, content and images, audio, video, and a bonus random selection. Let us know if you're using any of these and what else should have made the cut by tweeting us or sending a story on Insta. Please enjoy the episode and thanks for being a fab listener. Ensure you don't miss the next episode and support me by subscribing and telling your friends. Welcome to the Johnny Ross Audio Experience. I'm Johnny Ross, founder and digital marketing strategist of Fleek Marketing. Each podcast I'll be bringing you an expert to inspire you, to give you some great business growth takeaways, and to get you thinking about marketing and the bigger picture of how businesses can improve, adapt and grow. I look forward to sharing this with you on each podcast, so here we go. Hi, I'm Johnny Ross and welcome to another podcast video. We're live right now. We're live on YouTube. We're live on our Facebook group and we are live on LinkedIn. I've got Pascal Finto with me. I'm very excited. How are you, Pascal?
I'm very good. You know, last time we spoke to each other was the spring of 2020, give or take. So long overdue.
It was, yeah. And it was actually just at the early start of my podcast. You were one of my first guests, actually. And it's brilliant to have you back. On this podcast, it's been a while since I've spoken to you. It's crazy. You're running your own podcast as well at the moment. So that's the Two Geeks and Marketing. That's with Roger Edwards and yourself.
That's right.
How's that going, Pascal?
Well, thank you very much like you. We started in the summer 2020. That's what happens when you're stuck at home and boredom starts to kind of creep in. And we just recorded this morning episode 70. Wow. And it's still going strong. Very much like I'm still enjoying the format. I would argue that thanks to the preparation, the reflection, and the production of the show, we've become better marketers. We keep track of the news, we keep track of what's happening, and importantly, we keep track of tech and apps that can make life easier as a marketer and small business owner.
And that is exactly what we're going to be discussing today. And so the reason that I'm so excited is because you've agreed to come onto my podcast once a month to basically give us the highlights, give us the top best apps, the best tech for businesses and for marketeers, and to sort of take all the work that you've done over the month and sort of put it into a nice short podcast. So I'm so excited for this. And we're going to be reviewing, is it 20 today?
Yeah, so I've got my top 20. So thank you very much. And for me, it's just lovely because, we put the effort in researching and reviewing. So we never talk about things that we wouldn't use ourselves. Although, of course, let's be careful. The tech doesn't make us the marketer. But what I'd like to do is refresh the toolkit sometime, in particular when it comes to coming up with new ideas for content and content production. New things come on the market. Sometimes also advice for everybody I've learned is that the very platform you're using are making amazing improvements, but they don't tell anybody about it. Canva is a good example of that, but many others out there. So as well as listening today to my recommendation, Johnny, for all of you and listeners, go back to what you've got already. Even send an email to their customer support and ask for a tour of the platform. You'd be absolutely amazed at what they've invented without telling you that can make your life easier.
Yeah, I agree. They're evolving all the time. If you're watching live right now, please do comment in the box. Let us know if you've got any questions. We'd love to take live comments. If you're listening, it's brilliant to have you here as on the podcast. And so thanks for getting involved. We've got someone live right now, Kat from Seated Sewing in Durham. She's saying, hi, Johnny and Pascal. Good to hear from you, Kat. And we've got quite a few people watching on LinkedIn as well right now as well. So without further ado, on this episode, we're going to be covering content marketing and content creation, all the apps and tech around that. we've got 5 segments that we're going to go through. We've got a random extra at the end. Is that right? But we're going to start with that research and planning stage of content creation. Should I let you lead us through? I know that for people that are watching, we've got some visual slides. If you're listening, you really are not going to miss out. It's more for us to just to have a bit of a prompt. Please ask questions. Please get involved. In fact, how exciting! Roger's watching us on LinkedIn. Roger
hi.
Edwards. He's just said hello. Good to have you, Roger. Downloading all your fantastic apps and tech that you've been talking about over the last month and sharing it on here today.
Oh, excellent. So what we're going to do, as I said, more to keep me to time than anything else, we're going to go through, research and planning. Then we're going to talk about word and visual creation, then audio creation, video creation, and then a random spotlight, which has a lot of Roger's selections actually in this one. So marketing, tech and apps is one of the segment of the Two Geeks and Marketing podcast show. And I'm going to begin with actually a recent selection from Roger, answerthepublic.com. Now, we usually, all of us, use search engines to get results. This is a search engines by the questions people ask on search engines. I know it's a bit complicated, but the idea of if you're running a social media campaign, if you have a blog, if you're looking to create actually content even for your consultancy business or for your flyers and so on, knowing what people look for, knowing what people are concerned about can be a major breakthrough. Answerthepublic.com, you put some keywords that relates to your service or to your product, and you get a lovely mind map with the famous questions starting with the 5 W's, why, how as well is in there, but when, what, and so on. So it's a lovely way to get a nudge in the right direction. You probably know those questions already, Johnny, but you've just forgotten because you're just very, very busy. So answerthepublic.com is a nice one for research. Let's move on quickly with a must-have in your toolkit, similarweb.com. Similarweb.com allows you to look for essentially competing websites. So, for example, you want to know about other news sources. Perhaps you want to know about different ways to sell what you're doing. You know the URL of the website, you know the URL of maybe the news website. I use bbc.co.uk as an example, and once you click search and scroll down the kind of the report from similarweb.com, you're going to get a report of the competitors and similar website. Now, Johnny, you are a big SEO practitioner. You'll know about the similar site function on Google, but this is even better because you get some nice graphics, some nice data, and you can save you a mountain of time to find other websites similar to the one that you like or want to keep track of. Let me continue then with Pexels. Now, Pexels is known to many of you as the copyright-free sharing site for photo. You may know that they are also a partner with Canva.com. And they recently launched a 2022 content calendar. So the way it works, Johnny, you go on the content calendar and you pick a particular month of the year. And what they've done in advance for you, they have researched the international days and national days that we can piggyback on for our blogging, for our social media, and more. So we're looking at March at this moment in time. We're soon about to celebrate, in fact, International Women's Day, which I think is going to be amazing. Yesterday was World Wildlife Day. We also had a book day, if I'm not mistaken, in the UK. But I was attracted to the 21st of March. Two things. It's my dad's birthday, but also it's World Poetry Day. And I know, Johnny, that you're very fond of poetry. Is that right?
Oh, how did you know, Pascal?
Well, I've seen you scribe, at the back of the room during conferences. So if you select World Poetry Day and click on this kind of calendar, Johnny, then you're given a shortlist by the editors of Pexels for photos that match, if you like, that theme, and that will accelerate and make your content creation faster. Do you like that one?
What a clever idea. I mean, that just makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
And do you know what I'm thinking is that this is also an idea that any one of us could do and create for our own website. If you think about it, we know, and you can research the international days, and maybe what you could do is create resources for your own customers. Very quickly then, to wrap up on researching and planning, you, Johnny, Roger listening today and so on, we spend a lot of time helping people with their planning, and we have to capture, obviously, the actions. And I must confess, it must be just of age on my side, but I'm really not keen anymore on doing my kind of content calendars on Excel or Word and all the others. I just don't like it. I don't think it's stimulating. I don't think it's nice to share it on to others and so on. I do believe that we should, almost be kinder to ourselves and create more visually led content calendars and so on. And I came across this wonderful website called 24slides.com. 24 like the number, slides as in presentation slides. They have a plethora of free and chargeable templates. And frankly, we're talking about a small amount of dollars, not much at all. But I came across this social media content calendar. Some of you will be able to see on video, it's very, very visual. And I think that's what we should do nowadays, because we're ultimately creating very visual content and interfaces. What wouldn't you have a planner that is similar as opposed to essentially something called like Excel? Nothing wrong with Excel, but I think it has its limits, and I think something like that would be so much better for you. So for today, these will be my top 4 for researching and planning. What do you think so far, Johnny?
I'm loving it, and no, I am, and it just makes that I love that content calendar, to be perfectly honest, in terms of the dates that are available and the fact that you can just click through and get pictures instantly. One of the things that I wanted to share for everyone, I've just put a link up. I don't know if this is the best link for everyone, but if you simply Google 2 Geeks and Marketing Podcast, you'll find many ways to get to the podcast that Pascal's on and Roger's on, and it's on all your favorite platforms. But this link on the screen, that if you're watching, it's on the screen right now, and it's the Captivate link. So I just wanted to mention that because that's where all of this amazing rich content's come from. So if you're looking for deeper insights into some of these things, that's where some of this is discussed.
Thank you very much, Johnny. So let's move on to words and visuals creation. So I'll begin with this one of Roger's recent selection, a company called Portent, and they have a title maker. Now, again, it's that combination of coming up with an idea, being supported, but also having a title that is very stimulating. Now, it depends on your style. I must confess, Johnny, I actually tend to come up with the content first, and then the title comes to me second, but we all need a bit of help. So you go into the search box, they ask you for your subject. I chose French food today, Johnny, for no obvious reasons.
I wonder why.
And really what you do is you go through the title maker and it's there to stimulate. So, for example, how Hollywood got French food all wrong. And you may not use that title as is, Johnny, but it may just trigger a thought. Yeah. And you can already start to think about the body of that content, the images and so on. The 12 biggest French food blunders, which probably happened in my house, actually, Johnny. Could be another example from Portent. So it's just a lovely addition to your toolkit.
So this could be for blogs, for podcasts, for videos. It's a great way to come up with titles, isn't it? I like that. Yeah.
It could even be a poll, a survey online. Share your 12 biggest blunders. Now, obviously, because of the subject of French food, this is obviously shared with a bit of humor. But if you put a business term or a product term and so on, you get 13 facts about French food that will impress your friends. You could replace the term French food with something else altogether, and it just kind of goes, oh yeah, why not? And it triggers therefore this idea of I'm going to now research and write 13 facts, or a bit less if you want to. So Portent, the idea generation, the selection from Roger, which I thought was brilliant. I'm going to move on to
I'm sorry to stop you. This is Portent for those listening, the title maker. Thanks, Pascal. Carry on.
Not at all. So Google has lots of tucked away tools as well. This one I like is called Talk to Books. Talk as in speaking, and then TO Books. So many years ago, Johnny, because I know you're all, like me, very, very fond of search engine services, Google went through a phase of scanning pretty much every single book they could get their hands on, or virtually get their hands on, under the basis of education and so on. I don't think they could do that in the UK or Europe. But the advantage for us is that if you want to, as part of your writing, be seen to quote books or to quote a passage or to even make reference to an author, that could save you a mountain of time. And also, in my case, it saves me having to remember which book did I read 6 months ago and which passage did I like. So you put a keyword in a search box, as you would in a typical search function, And then the results that you get are essentially the paragraph or the quote from the book, giving you even the page number, giving you the author, giving you the publication year and so on. So you can really do the citation in a very professional way. And that can really transform, if you like, the appreciation of someone reading your blog article. That could even be, Johnny, to your point, even just a social media post.
Wow.
That
is powerful.
Very, very. And this is what marketing tech and apps for Two Geeks and Marketing Podcasts is all about. Being time efficient so that you can do even better job and serve your customers even better. Next one I wanted to mention is content drips. So this is almost this idea of if you feel that you've outgrown Canva, or actually if you feel that there's going to be a quicker way to go about it, content drips, as in DRIP.com, allows you to create carousels. So these are the famous kind of almost flip books that you can see on social media. And what I like about them, they do specialize, as some of you may be able to say, on personal brands. So this idea of a picture of you, Johnny, and then some slides that people can obviously go through themselves with your quote, with your recommendation, maybe your 5 steps to, and that kind of things. And the reason why I do like it, perhaps compared to Canva, where sometimes it can be a little laborious to get through all the different things. With this one, to begin with, you work from left to right, which is a bit more natural than from top to bottom, and you can really work very, very fast. The copy and paste, the dragging and drop is very, very fast indeed, and then you end up with a carousel. The other option that they have is what they call a quote template. So if you have statements you want to share, if you have announcements you want to share, you can also use that on content drips. So just want to add as part of what you do. And finally, you'll be familiar, all of you, with Adobe as a company. And recently, Roger made me aware of they had some new release. I think it was actually as a result of the pandemic to support small businesses. So to begin with, they've released an enormous amount of photos, videos, and more for free on their website. I've put the URL on the slide here, Johnny. But if you want to read it out to our friend listening to the podcast, as long as you have a pen ready.
Yeah, sure. So it's stock.adobe.com/UK/free. Stock.adobe.com/UK/free. And by the look of it, it's basically a free set of images and videos that Adobe are just giving away.
They are indeed. Now, there would be a collection that you have to pay for. You may already be subscribing to the Adobe suite. But what I will say for that selection, Johnny, the photography and the videos and so on are very, very different to Pexels, very different to Canva and so on. So if you look for something that looks a bit different, then I would definitely have that additional bookmark on your browser. Now, let's say you have a picture, let's say you have a video. What do you do with it? Well, we're very lucky because Adobe recently released Adobe Express. It used to be called Spark. You may have used that before, Johnny, Adobe Spark. So Adobe Express is like Canva before semi-pros. I would say the design a fraction sharper, the speed of execution is sharper. The other thing that is nice as well as a differentiator is when you work on Canva and you want to create some PNGs or images with no background, you have to have the Pro account. Now, some of us don't need that necessarily. With this one, you have the transparent background de facto. You use it. What could you use Adobe Express for? Well, actually, I recently launched some new services and I was able to go and create a free account. And some of you will be able to tell the layout is very familiar to you. It looks a bit like Canva, but like I said, it's a bit sharper. And I was able to create a brand because they have a logo maker and launching very, very soon a new service for the film industry, the Film Marketing Academy. And I was able to do that with some great features and functions that do not exist on Canva. So listen, I'm a big fan of Canva. It's transformed content marketing for small businesses, but we need to, on occasion, add a few additional tools in the toolkit. So yeah, Adobe Express, final selection for words and visuals creation.
Excellent. So just to remind you, we're talking about content marketing and content creation today. Some of the best apps and tech that's out there for businesses and marketeers. We're delighted that Pascal Finto is with us from Two Geeks and a Marketing Podcast to share some of these. We've got 5 sections for this today. We've covered research and planning. We've just talked about creating the visuals and the words. Coming up is creating the audio, the video, and some random tools as well. And just before I hand over back to you, Pascal, Helen Morell's here. She's from Morell Financial Management. She's saying Pascal's a great trainer, really knows his stuff. So great, delighted that you're here.
Thank you.
Watching right now, Helen. If you are watching, please do comment. Please let us know. And if you're listening, why not send us a tweet or post me on Instagram and let us know. Pascal, the next section.
Let's move on to audio creation. And this is actually becoming rather important, not just because of podcasting, but we now know, or certainly many of you will need to be told, that the social networks are making a big move on audio. Whether that's an audio message between people, whether that's going to be now the audio rooms encouraged by the success of Clubhouse, Twitter Spaces and more, but also this idea of sometime adding a audio recording to an existing visual. So here's a future for you. You've published a social media post with a visual, with some text. It's working well. You can go back and edit and add your voice as you read the text, or even as you are answering questions posted to you on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. That's pretty exciting, isn't it, Johnny?
It is. I mean, just talking about audio for a second, I am probably 50% of the time now using audio in my LinkedIn messages than typing. So I don't know about you, but I've had a bit of a swing in terms of using audio in my messaging apps.
Absolutely. I actually make a point to remember how many times have I text somebody or emailed somebody, is it time to switch to audio, almost as a reset, but also it's good customer care, it's good customer service. Yeah. And in your case, Johnny, I mean, you've got such a lovely voice. I would rather listen to you than read your message.
Oh, you're just too kind today, Pascal.
Okay, so let's move on with my first selection. So this one is about the kit and the tech. So whether you're going to be having just normal Zoom meetings, whether you're going to host a webinar, whether you're going to be doing video content and so on, we need a clear voice. And we need also a voice that is quite rich, almost lifelike. And we're very lucky. A company like Rode, I will mention many others over the coming months, Johnny, have re-released their NT USB Mini. So NT, 2 letters, and then USB, and then the Mini. And the reason why I'm excited is the price point is very, very low. I think it's £99 for a Pro microphone, but it comes free with a Rode Connect software, which will allow you to essentially even improve further the quality of your sound, do recordings on your computer, and do all sorts of things. The Rode Connect is a software version of the Rodecaster Pro, which is essentially the hardware, the physical item. And to give you an idea of why I'm excited, also I say quite peeved, I bought the Rodecaster Pro, the interface to record and to kind of have a good quality of sound, actually during the pandemic 2020, and that cost me £500, Johnny.
Wow.
This is now free. This is free with that microphone as a software, because nobody needs the kit. I don't need this big box next to me. It just needs to be on my computer. Gosh. So the NT USB Mini to capture that voice of yours, to leave messages, but also to host sessions is actually very, very important. Now, I mentioned a moment ago about social networks and audio. So the likelihood is you'll be using your phone a lot. So for that, still using Rode, they released recently another one called the Rode Video Mic Go 2, but there's also an alternative from a company called Sennheiser. So Sennheiser released the MKE200. And there's plenty of kind of bundles. I've chosen the one from Amazon for convenience, but again, the price range is about £99. You get the microphone, you get the clip, the clamp to go to put the things together. You get everything you need to be able to speak to your phone via your phone on social media. But again, to capture that voice, to be just a bit more full and rich, as opposed to sounding like you're talking through a tin can.
On the screen for people that so it's Sennheiser MKE200. What we'll do is we'll put all of this in the show notes as well, so that there's links to all the things that are being recommended. But it looks like a really good price for a decent bit of kit.
And you'll want that because that's going to be essentially where the differentiator will come very, very soon. Does it sound okay, or do you sound distant and a little off? So let's move on to podcasting, something that I've mentioned to you and to many of your listeners before, but it's worth returning to it. Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm is the all-in-one podcasting platform. It was bought by Spotify 2-3 years ago now, which meant that they've added even more features. And literally from your free account on Anchor.fm, you can do everything from recording to editing to publishing to adding music and so on, and getting it listed on Spotify, which is not a small detail. So really worth you considering. I mean, there's plenty of other options, of course, out there, Johnny. But for someone starting, this is just amazing.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Now, finally, on audio, music is important, or will become. We all need to find a way to capture that brand of ours and what we stand for through music and sometimes through vocals. Now, there's plenty of options out there, but one that I thought merits our attention today is this company called Dig CC Mixter, and the URL is dig as in dig.cc, the two letters, the third letter, and then Mixter, mixter.org. digccmixter.org. And this is artists from around the world who have essentially donated their music, their craft, really, for video producers, for gamers, for kind of even musicians. And all they ask for is a credit at the end of the video and in the show notes, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video. And what is lovely about Dig 60 Mixter is that you're bound to find something that is so incredibly unique that you're going to really connect with, that could become your audio branding. And I think it's just a lovely way to also be part of the community, the worldwide community, where not only do you get what you need as a kind of content creator, but they also get a shout out. So that's my selection for audio production today, Johnny.
Fantastic. Loving it. In fact, actually, just right in the middle of a conversation with a client right now about needing a backing track for a particular video that we've just created, and they just want something a bit different. So I'm going to go and check out the Dig CC Mixter website. Thank you.
No, and it works well. You've got a good search function. You use keywords and tags and so on. And yeah, you'll find something that you'll appreciate. So let's move on from audio to video. That makes sense. So I'll begin with recording your screen for either a video message. It could be actually to do a show and tell where you can record your screen, computer screen, I mean by that, and your webcam. You can record just a webcam. So many options. And the platform that I really like to go back to is screencastify.com. So a bit of a convoluted name, but this idea of maybe doing a training course as well. You could use that. So it could be short message, it could be long message. They have a free version and then the chargeable version. But plenty of options out there, Johnny. But Screencastify does it a bit better than most, I would argue. Particularly, you'll expect me to be very picky about HD quality of the video content, and this does it very, very well. So then you could be recording, obviously, using your webcam, and we want maybe our image to be a bit better. So the company that I like to go back to is manycam.com, many as in MANY, cam, CAM. And what this allows you to do is like having a remote control to really fine-tune the performance of your webcam. Maybe some of you have got a webcam and you think it's awfully bright, it's awfully dark, or the colors are slightly off, and I want to do something a bit better. Then very much like you would with a camera, a video camcorder, where you can control the settings. Manycam literally creates settings for your inbuilt webcam for your computer and gives you a better image. So I think it's just a really nice one to have in addition to your toolkit. And they've added so many functions for live streaming as well. It's really worth your while. I want to kind of also move on to editing videos and creating content for yourselves. The company that impresses me all the time, Johnny, is Filmora, Filmora. They have released version 11 now of their software, editing software, and the price is so low, but then the features are so incredible. I just don't know how they do it. It's just so exciting. But not only are they very low entry in terms of cost, but they don't cheat you in terms of the editing functions. but they've done it so easy. It's like the Canva of video editing, if that makes any sense. You would learn with their kind of academy and video on YouTube how to do the editing, and you could work very, very fast. Super impressed with it, and I always recommend it now to all my customers. I want to then close on a very special selection, a company called Vocal Video. Vocal as in voice and then video. And this is all to do with getting and editing video testimonials, something that's very important to all businesses.
Yeah.
So important, Johnny. And something that we don't do enough, because it's actually this business of asking. It's this business of people recording it. It's this business of what you do with it and whatever. And what Vocal Video is almost this virtual concierge where they organize almost, it's all done automatically, well, as they say, automagically. They organize the bookings, they organize the links, you ask people to record something on their mobile phone, they can then send it to Vocal Video, and within Vocal Video you would edit the testimonial to make it essentially a video to go on YouTube, to go on social media or your website. So it's taking care of all the communication, it's taking care of the awkwardness, because essentially your customer does it in their own time or her own time. They can do it more than once, they can upload it, and then you can edit within the platform, as opposed to, I don't know, what would be the other option? You bump to somebody in the streets and say, oh, by the way, can I have a testimonial, please? So that will be my top four for on this occasion for video creation. Let me just close on the random selection. So just a spot where I didn't know where to put them. They don't belong anywhere in particular, but they still impress me. I'll begin with card.co, spelled C-A-R-D.co.
C-A-R-D even. C-A-R-D.
Oh, I got it. Well done. Well done indeed. CARRD.co. And this is all to do with this idea of a one-page website just to make an announcement, just to kind of release some information. Sometimes your own website is not quite right for you, or you want to do a test in the marketplace that is quite discreet. And it is designed primarily for personal brand, but I think you could use it for products, you could use it for services and so on. And it presents you with a very elegant one-page website that you can then share with a hyperlink, and people can access information. It can then be linked to other destinations, such as the main website or indeed your social media. Think of it as like a flyer, like a business card, something that just allows you to try out something without necessarily having to go into your main website. Indeed, if you are someone who is starting maybe a side activity to your main one, whether you're employed or not, that could be also a lovely way to test the market out. The next one is Timeline.ly. So timeline and then .ly. Now this one, Johnny, is really, really interesting. So imagine a moment that you discovered a great video on YouTube primarily. You're watching it, could be a TED Talk, could be an instruction, could be a recipe and so on. And you are reacting to it. Thoughts comes to your mind. Would it be nice if you could actually type those thoughts? Even better, how about if you left a video message at the right time in the right track of that video? So you're watching a TED Talk, you are reacting to it, and you can pause the video. You can record yourself reacting to the video and then save that and send a link to your customers. When they watch the video, when the spot that you decided to react to is on the track, your video will open up as a little thumbnail and they will hear you react to the video. Once your reaction is over, the video then goes back to where it was and plays again.
Now that is clever.
That's very clever. So I've done the test actually totally with the Two Geeks and a Marketing podcast. We were discussing some recent news, and at the time, what I did was just to share the news. And, Roger reacted to the news. But actually, weeks later, there was some evolution. Things had changed. I was able to go onto YouTube, find the video, find the news. I was able to add a little kind of pop-up video to say, oh, by the way, if you're watching this now, this has changed and this is what's happened now. So there's all sort of things that you can do timelinely. But what is exciting, they don't have to be your videos. It can be someone else's video on YouTube, and you can add written comments or you can add video comments that play when the player gets to the right time.
I like that. I like that. Really good.
I thought you might. So very, very quickly, for inspiration, landing pages, or I prefer to call them destination pages because I think landing is a bit brutal. But we all need inspiration. We all need, a nudge in the right direction. And like you, I'm very busy. Sometimes I just don't know where to start with some things. So there's a company called Lapa, L-A-P-A, and they have a website called lapa.ninja. And what they've done, a bit like, I suppose, what we're doing today and what Roger and I do, is they've gathered, in their view, the best example of the best landing pages out there in the interweb. And that gives you essentially this mood board of really many, many landing pages of all sectors and all kind of customer groups and so on. And you may find a couple that kind of goes, actually, something like this would be very helpful to me, or something like this that could begin the process of briefing an agency for your own website and destination. It could even be just the idea of a online poster on e-brochure. So I just thought it was worth us knowing, again, about those websites where people have done the hard work, and you can get some inspiration. I'm going to close on a selection from Roger, which I think, using the rules of presentation, Johnny, where you have to leave people smiling. So this one's called Brick It. Not in a point of view of being scared, but this is actually a mobile phone app that allows you to take a picture of a pile of Legos, and in return, they will show you a plan of what you can do with it. So if you have children who say to you, Mum, Dad, I'm bored, and they have Legos, but they're going to say to you, well, I've already done the Star Wars Death Star twice now, or I've already done the car, whatever. What you can do is spread the Legos on the floor, take a picture, and Brick It will send you an image and a plan of what you can do with those Lego bricks.
No way.
There you go. That's our selection for this month.
I dread to think what it would come up with. We've got mounds and mounds of Lego in our house. It'd be interesting. That's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, I just love it. I love the format of this. You've done a month's worth of research. We've shared this with people today. The focus very much today was content marketing and content creation. Listen, if you're watching, if you're listening, what apps do you think should be included? What tech are we missing? What apps should be there? Please do comment. Let us know if you've got experience with any of these, if you've used any, what you think. We'd love some feedback. Pascal, people wanting to find you, you help with online reputation, digital marketing, but especially in videography as well. But where's the best place to find you?
So with a name like mine, Johnny, I can't hide so well on the internet. So if you just Google literally Pascal Fintoni, and if you want to send me a DM, use a website. You can also use LinkedIn, which is where I tend to kind of be most active. And yeah, get in touch. So back to your point about the show. So this is like the first one. We're going to come back monthly. Give us your suggestions or even requirements and requests saying, what about cybersecurity? What about team meetings? What about hybrid working? And give us some themes for myself, Roger, and by extension, Johnny, to look. We've reviewed now 300 tech and apps that can make life easier for marketers and business owners. In there, we're bound to find the top 20 again that can really make a huge difference to you. But pascalfinto.com is the website. Go on LinkedIn. And yeah, if you want to hear the full story, but also the news that comes with it, feel free to check out two Geeks and a marketing podcast as well.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And you just need to Google it in your, or search for it in your favorite podcasting platform. You'll find it. David Pickups just mentioned that Loom is amazing. Yes. Yeah, we like Loom. Thanks, David. Good to have you here as well. But I think that's all for now.
Well, we wanted to keep it short and sharp, and I think we've done so, yeah.
Yeah. So, Pascal, this has been absolutely brilliant. Looking forward very much to next month's roundup. But I don't know where I'm going to find the time over the next this next 4 weeks to even try some of these things. But for now, thank you very much for listening. Thanks for watching. We will see you all soon. Thanks, Pascal.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Take care. You've been listening to the Johnny Ross audio experience. Thanks so much for joining me. If you want to continue the conversation, head over to my website, fleek.marketing, or find me on LinkedIn. That's all for today. Please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, tag me in your social media posts, and please leave me a review on iTunes. It will make a huge difference for me. I will see you soon.